All right, are you ready for podcast number 48?
Woohoo!
Here we go. Good Health by Claudia, podcast with me, Denny Schaefer, a production of Denny Radio. It is episode 48. Yes!
Woo! Yes.
We're getting dangerously close to halfway to 100 there, Claudia. Today we're going to talk about gut health and the brain, how they're connected. But before we do that, we must run our disclaimer to satisfy the suits. The information contained in these podcasts is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or health condition. Please consult a qualified healthcare professional if you do have a medical condition. The FDA has not evaluated the information on this podcast, which represents the opinions of the hosts and or the guests. And good afternoon to you, Claudia.
Thank you. You too.
So we are going to talk to Bruce Ellis. We'll bring him on in a minute. He's part of Natural Factors, the education team.
Yep.
I'm noticing a theme of our previous 47 podcasts that we've done. And by the way, thank you, Debbie. Thank you, Smith, Helen, Jessica. I don't know your name.
Oh,
maybe your last name is Smith. Is her first name Helen or Jessica?
Yeah.
Jessica. All right. Thank you. If you guys have any questions during the broadcast, please put them under the comments. I'll see them. I'll read them to Claudia and Bruce, and they will answer your questions. So I'm noticing a theme that if you have a healthy gut, and I'm going to speak in the kind of terms that I understand, if your gut is healthy, then your brain will be healthy. Am I catching on to a trend here?
You're absolutely correct. And that's why we say all day long at the store, and we teach everybody for a long time now,
say it.
The brain starts in the gut.
There it is. The brain starts in the gut. We need a sticker that says the brain starts in the gut. Claudia's Health Food, Secor Road. All right.
Well, and remember, also the immune system and the endocrine system. So you're talking three major important systems in the body are coming from the gut. So what people are eating is ultimately really the first step to either good health or not good health. So this is why we keep telling everybody, eat clean, eat better, be mindful about what you're eating, all those things.
Except there's a lot of people that just won't change. And I get frustrated because when they're sick all the time, or they're not feeling well, or they're run down, and they look at me and they're like, dude, you lost 20 pounds and you seem to have more energy than you've ever had. How do you do it? And then I tell them and they're like, yeah, but I really like ice cream. I really like, fill in the blank here. And I say, yeah, I do too, but I only do it in moderation and I eat the right kind. I don't buy the store-bought crap. I go to Claudia's and I get the stuff that is not going to send my blood sugar spike in or whatever. So I don't know how you do it because, you just want to shake people and go, come on, man, get off those prescription meds. You're eating crap.
Everybody asks me that. How have you dealt with all that all these years? But I had to find a place of understanding. Listen, we're all in charge of our own life. We're in charge of our health, and we just have to, when people are ready when they're ready, and until then they're not ready. And once they open their heart and open their mind and are willing to embrace their own health, we just have to keep doing what we do and hoping that more people wake up and embrace it. That's all we can do.
They come around before they drop dead. Okay, that got dark.
Yeah, but it's true. I've always said, take care of your health before a crisis hits. Nobody wants the crisis, and we're seeing a health crisis all over the place. It's very sad. Yep.
All right, let's bring in somebody who knows a lot more than I do about this. He is part of Natural Factors education team. He's been working with them for the last 12 years. He's a big believer in what we're talking about. Say hello to Bruce Ellis. Bruce.
Hi, Bruce.
Hello, Bruce.
Hi, guys.
How are things in Colorado? Bruce is in Colorado, all you viewers and listeners.
Oh, it's absolutely beautiful. Sunny. Cool in the mornings. It'll be like 45 or 50 in the morning and then get into the 80s during the day. So yeah, just a beautiful time of year.
Nice.
We got some clouds going today, but we're going to be back up in the 80s in the next couple of days. All right. So let me ask you what I asked Claudia. How do you, because obviously you've been on this, type of lifestyle, believing in supplements and natural products. And of course it's your living. How do you handle people that you continually see one are sick or they're run down and, you're close enough to them where you can see their diet and be a part of it? I mean, how do you deal with that? Do you get frustrated? What do you do?
Yeah, I try not to get frustrated. It's baby steps, I think, and just trying to educate them that it really does begin with your diet and your lifestyle. Think
Yeah.
about what you're buying, think about what you're putting into your body, try to get some exercise, because that's just regulating, your cellular metabolism, and, just doing so many beneficial things for the body, including exercise is helping with, creating neurotrophic factors for our brain that are only
Right.
created through exercise. So, yeah, it's just, you don't want to overwhelm them. I think you want to, take it kind of slowly with them, and
Mhm.
try to educate them and get them to do, one step at a time kind of a thing. But
Claudia,
yeah,
do you
eat
find people?
organic, go to your health food store, definitely.
Yep.
Claudia, do you find that once somebody has a health scare, they're easier to mold or convince?
Unfortunately, a lot of people will come in. They've already been through the medical system. They're, without body parts. They're on all these meds. Many times they've been through aggressive treatments. It's very sad. And then they come to us and, with tears in their eyes, we'll ask if there's anything we can do for them at that point. And, the whole thing is nourish yourself first. Know that Western medicine is there. It has a place. It's available. But first and foremost, nourish yourself. Give your body a chance to do what it's capable of doing. But as we all know, it needs the right tools. And that's what we're teaching people every week. We're teaching the right tools.
All right, Jessica already has a question. What's the name of the exercise for the brain? Did you mention something about the exercise for the brain, Bruce?
Yeah, well, I mean, you've got to lift weights. They don't have to be very heavy, but you've got to do some kind of resistance exercise. Doing some kind of cardiovascular exercise is great.
Cardiovascular,
Yoga, being
Yeah.
mindful, body alignment. But yeah, you need to move your body. That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Okay. And Daniel is preaching some opinions on forgiveness of people that I'm guessing don't eat or try to take care of themselves like we are. Look, we're not. It's not that I'm better than anybody else. It's just I've learned my lesson. It's like, come on.
Right.
And then people, it's not friggin' brain surgery. If you eat crap, you're going to feel like crap. I say it to
Right.
my 20-year-old son all the time. He eats a half of a box of gummy bears at 3 a.m. when he's just getting done gaming. And then he wonders why he wakes up feeling like crap. And I'm like, dude, what'd you
Right.
wash it down with?
Right.
Mountain Dew. I'm like,
Oh,
yeah.
well, hopefully he'll learn from your example.
Or
That's
I'm
the
gonna
best
kill
way
him.
we.
It's one or the other.
Well, but to the who made a comment about you said his name? I don't know his name.
Jessica. Daniel.
No,
He says,
Daniel.
forgiveness is the key to happiness. Be the example. You can lead the donkey to the well, but you can't force it to drink.
Exactly. And I honor what you're saying, because it's very true. And I had to learn way back in my 20s. You can't force people. You just have to bless them where they are, be where they're at. And that's what we do in our store, where, we have hundreds of people walking through our doors every week. And we've learned we just have to be where they're at.
Yeah.
And teach them to take baby steps. But at the end of the day, for me, it's all about loving ourselves enough to do this. It's being mindful enough and caring enough to learn how to heal and nurture ourselves. So it's a step-by-step journey.
Claudia, tell me about DGL and how it's important to gut health in the brain.
Well, this is a terrific product. Bruce, I want to start with the DGL because
Sure.
we've talked about this. Where's the thing? We've talked about this several times over how many podcasts intermittently. But today, I'd like to get into a little deeper dive of it. So this is a wonderful product. A lot of people know that licorice can elevate blood pressure. But in this specific product, that activity that can do that has been removed. So there's no concern about that. So tell us about DGL.
Yeah, so it is. It's glycyrrhizin that can elevate our blood pressure. It's kind of hard on our kidneys and our cardiovascular system.
Which is
it's
an activity within their
retaining
licorice.
sodium. Yep, it's
It's an
retaining
activity.
sodium.
Okay.
Yep, and kind of depleting potassium. It's also what makes licorice very, very sweet. It's like 30 times more sweet than sugar, which is kind of amazing.
Wow.
But so what they've done is, you said it exactly right, Claudia. They've taken that glycyrrhizin out. That's deglycyrinated licorice is basically what DGL is.
Yes.
And it's all about supporting our mucous membranes. Our skin covers about 2 square meters. Our mucous membranes cover about, I want to say it's like 400 square meters throughout our respiratory tract, throughout our complete digestive system, esophagus to the very end, our urinary tract and reproductive, organs as well.
Yes.
So really, really important. With DGL, It's one of those unique herbs that's a demulcent. And so basically what it's doing is it's helping to create mucus, stimulating our mucus creating cells. And then also it's very, very mucus-like anyway. It's kind of like slippery elm or marshmallow. If you've ever had a slippery elm throat lozenge, it kind of has that kind of, viscosity that like kind of it's soothing, to in terms of like, any kind of irritation with that as well.
So I'd like you to clarify, because, when people hear the word mucus, they're thinking of phlegm, congestion, everybody's they're wondering why they're so phlegmy when they're eating ice cream and cheese all day long, but that's another conversation. But I'd like you to clarify that, what we're talking about with the mucosal lining in the body, so people don't confuse that.
Yeah, it's not going to stimulate, a lot of mucus, say like in your respiratory system, in your sinuses and nose and things like that. What it's really doing, again, it's all about protection, right? This, the mucosa is really important for creating that mucus. It's protecting our stomach lining, all those epithelial cells from our own hydrochloric acid. So yeah, it's not going to make people too mucusy at all. Yeah.
Well, at least to my experience, it doesn't make people mucusy, but what it's doing is soothing the inflamed mucosal tissue that's in the body, right?
It's very protective, right?
It's anti-inflammatory.
Gastro, like, esophageal reflux disease. So
Yes.
it's I don't want to call it a Band-Aid, but it's, again, it's helping to stimulate that mucus production throughout your esophagus. So it's protecting those cells. If you do have heartburn or GERD, again, same thing with the stomach lining as well. If you have any kind of ulcerations or anything like that, then it's definitely going to help, kind of prevent that from becoming, really, really bad. And just,
I'm glad you said that, Bruce, because my question would be, all right, Claudia, somebody comes in, they're talking, you say, all right, here's my symptoms of what's going on. And what symptoms would lead you to say, come over here, you need to start with some DGL? What's going through somebody's body?
Well, remember, when people tell us their symptoms, we are then teaching them how to support a particular system. So to your question, millions of people are struggling with digestive distress. I think on one of the earlier podcasts, when I looked it up, I think the NIH or somebody estimated over 70 million Americans are dealing with some kind of gut distress, which shouldn't make shouldn't surprise anyone, because everybody's been eating all this refined junk since after World War II, mainly. And it's gotten worse. Now we're dealing with genetically engineered foods and all this stuff, all the sugar and all of it. So a lot of people, I always call the stomach the garbage disposal. A lot of people, their garbage disposal is not happy because they've been asking it to break things down that it has no ability to break down. So it becomes inflamed. So lots of people come in, they've come from the doctor, they're on antacids, or they want off antacids. We have a lot, and we never tell anybody ever to stop their meds. But it's fair to say a lot of people come to us because they're tired of taking these meds where they just are not feeling better and they're getting the side effects. So DGL is one of the first things that we grab. I always ask somebody, do you like the taste of black licorice? Because if they don't, these are chewables. So we actually keep a bottle open at the supplement counter and have somebody taste it before they purchase it. Because I want to make sure, you can have the best product in the world. If it's in the kitchen cabinet, what's the point? So, and it's interesting because sometimes after somebody tastes it, 10, 15 minutes later, they'll look at me and say, wow, is that possible that I feel better already? And I say, absolutely it is. Can we guarantee that? Of course not. But most people, when they chew this product, those oils get right in and have a beneficial effect.
All right, Debbie has a question. Is this something that is taken all the time or just to get rid of phlegm/mucus?
It's not going to get rid of phlegm necessarily. Nope, but it is. Like Claudia was saying, it's really all about the mucosal lining of our digestive tract. And so what that's doing is it's providing some relief to let those cells heal. Again, glutamine is going to be important for promoting the repair of those epithelial cells. DGL is going to help protect those cells until they've actually repaired some. I would say it just kind of depends on you. It's probably going to be more for symptomatic relief, especially if it's for like heartburn or something like that. you know, that kind of a thing. Yeah.
Yes.
Claudia,
So it's not necessarily part of your daily pill box like my Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I'm not taking it every day.
Yeah. But
Well,
Claudia hit the nail on the head, right? It's really begins with our digestion. Our health begins with digestion.
Yeah.
So I would
Right.
like to see people do digestive enzymes, you know, things like that that are going to help break down their food more completely and utilize their nutrients. DGL is going to be, you know, again, just for symptomatic relief in my mind. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a wonderful product. And again, a lot of people come in looking for help for their digestive system. And this is very often where we begin, along with probiotics. I'm a fan of probiotics.
Yes.
They're very important. They're, they're the good bacteria. They're everything. Most Americans are very depleted in good flora, I believe, because of what we witness every day. But to the question that was asked, when we're guiding somebody with a product like this, I encourage them. This is not what you should be doing every day. This is to help while you're making changes to your diet that's causing the inflammatory problems. You know, for me, I don't want to see somebody have to live on DGL forever, nor do I want to see them on anything that's helping to soothe or a wound. Our goal is to help them learn how to heal. But in the meantime, this is an amazing product that helps a lot of people. So very safe, very wonderful, very effective. And again, I just want to make sure we're all understanding. When Bruce said the mucus, all that wet tissue in our body, the lungs, the eyes, he was listing it. It's all this wet tissue. So we were not talking about mucus from your diet. We're talking about internally supporting that mucosal lining that's so important to the digestive tract. So I hope that clarifies.
I would need that product only on the weekends when I'm more of a slacker. That's what I would need it
Probably.
Right, exactly.
Claudia, tell me about GABA. GABA.
All right,
how
GABA
it
is
calms my
wonderful.
brain.
Yeah, GABA. This is GABA. A lot of people are familiar with GABA. GABA is one of it's a neurotransmitter, and it's very important for calming the brain. So a lot of people know that GABA is their go-to. This is a great product. It's a chewable.
Yes.
And I'll tell you, the chewables do very well for people. And I think part of it is because so many people have gut distress, the chewables are easier to uptake. But go ahead, Bruce, and tell us about GABA.
Oh yeah, it's amazing. I feel bad because when I was a retailer, you know, we had natural factors, theanine and GABA, and I never really recommended it because I didn't know very much about it.
Right.
And, you know, I'm a fan of adaptogens in terms of helping with that stress response.
Yes.
But the beautiful thing about Pharma GABA, some theanine, is that they work that same day for customers. Just like you said with the DGL, you know, you can give it, let a customer try it. It's experiential. And 15 minutes later, they're like, hey, I think this is working. Same thing with the GABA.
Yes.
Not all GABAs are created equally. So most GABA on the market is synthetically created. There's still a lot of nutrients out there that are synthetically created. Pharma GABA is a naturally derived GABA that's done through fermentation. It's Lactobacillus hilgardi. It's a strain that's found in kimchi that they culture it from.
Oh, very interesting. Yeah. I didn't realize that.
And it just seems to work better than, that's why, you know, you don't need lots and lots of milligrams. You know, remember, milligrams don't necessarily equate to potency. It doesn't really tell you how your body is going to absorb it and distribute it and utilize it.
Yes.
With this Pharma GABA, it doesn't take very much to have an effect. They've done great research with Pharma GABA. So, you know, we produce a particular immunoglobulin in our saliva. And when we're stressed, that falls precipitously. And so they did this experiment in Japan where they were leading folks that were afraid of heights across a suspension bridge and measuring that immunoglobulin in their saliva. Yeah. And the Pharma GABA group kept more of that in their saliva than the placebo group. So it's really, you know, GABA in my mind works very quickly. It's all about helping with anxiety, especially just taking the edge off.
Yes.
You mentioned it, you know, it's a neurotransmitter. Our brain is always trying to balance glutamate, which is excitatory, with GABA, which is an inhibitory neurotransmitter. And it just seems to work really, really well. It's getting those brain waves from beta to alpha, kind of that more zen-like state where you're, you know, very alert, but also very relaxed and conscious, you know, what's going on.
Yeah.
Claudia, this is where you take the GABA and you move it over to the Denny pile.
All right,
Denny's gonna try that tomorrow.
I'll put it over. Oh, I
I've
should go
sold
this
Denny
way.
on it.
Well, whichever way it's
Yeah,
going,
I mean,
it's
come on,
yours.
who doesn't have problems with, with anxiety and the brain just moving way too fast? And I'll tell you what, some of the stuff that, I've tried has really been amazing. But this sounds like something that could be very helpful to a lot of people. Now, is this something you take only when you're feeling stressed? And do you do it on an empty stomach, full? What does it matter, Bruce?
Yeah, I think empty stomach, a lot of times with amino acids, the empty stomach seems to work better, I think. For me, I kind of see pharmagaba as being used, again, symptomatically, maybe not every day. You certainly could use it every day if you wanted to. But yeah, it just is going to kind of depend on the individual when it comes to things like that. But
so if it works for you, you should be able to tell not too long after.
Yeah, I think with the chewables, Claudia probably knows this too. Yeah, probably within 10, 15 minutes, usually you'll notice a benefit.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
I definitely want to try that.
But, I want to Bruce, you brought up about stress and how it affects, it even affects the saliva, and stress affects everything. And everything. And it has a tremendous impact in such a negative way, in so many ways. I mean, but, and now, unfortunately, we're seeing all these children that are coming in. They're being diagnosed with anxiety and depression. Now, a lot of that, to me, we talked about a couple weeks ago, Denny, we talked about petrotoxins and man-made estrogen and how we know that is linked to, it's pushing the endocrine system, so it's causing some imbalances. But outside of all these different factors, it's fair to say the world has become a very stressful place for a lot of people, and it's really affecting children. So we actually have some parents that have used GABA for their children, and they get beautiful results. Of course, for children, we always, start with a lower dose. You don't want to start with the same dose. I think the dose on here is two, right? 2 tablets is 100 milligram.
Yep.
And so, but it's a very wonderful, safe product. So for children now, if somebody comes in and they're already on meds, we don't mix stuff. That's not our thing.
No, we leave that to their practitioner. Yeah.
Exactly. Because, the different meds they're using are forcing receptor site activity, whether they're opening receptor sites, closing receptor sites. And when you're talking about products like what we're talking about, we're striving for balance. So, if somebody's on antipsychotics or whatever they might, antidepressants, say, this is something I would not jump into. Now that I said that, over the years, we've had people that have come to us and they're mixing the two because they don't know, and they're getting some good results. But, but you have to be careful when you're on different meds that are, changing the brain chemicals. But GABA is a wonderful, beautiful product. I love that it's in a chewable. And again, we keep a lot of these products at the register or at the supplement area so people can taste them. A lot of people are very taste sensitive. So same thing with GABA. We'll have somebody chew up the tablet and, we're talking and they're shopping and they'll come back 15, 20 minutes later, same kind of response. Geez, I just feel calmer. Could it work that fast? Yes, of course, because the brain starts in the gut.
Yep,
all right, I'm going to come in tomorrow and I'm going to try that, Claudia. I'm going to try a little sample. And I'm going to be hanging out with your husband as we're checking out the new podcast studio that's coming soon.
Yeah, we're excited about it.
Tell me the difference between the GABA and forgive me if I say this wrong, the theanine, which is also for calming.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This is some theanine. Great
one
product.
of my favorites as well. That's that amino acid, Denny, that's from green tea. It's not really an essential amino acid. We create a little bit in our gut, but not very much. So it's kind of a semi-essential amino acid. And what theanine is doing is it's helping to produce our own GABA, also our own little bit of dopamine and a little bit of serotonin. Mm-hmm. So for me personally, if I'm just trying to be focused like a Jedi, I've had a little bit too much coffee, I want to slow, kind of quiet down the sweaty armpits, that kind of thing, GABA is enough for me. If I'm trying to get focused and I'm a little bit cranky, that's where I like the theanine because it's helping with that dopamine production.
It's very common.
Claudia has already kind of touched on it, but our gut really is our second brain. We have more than 150 million neurons there. Yes. Lots of GABA is produced there. 50% of our dopamine is produced there. Mm-hmm. 90% of our serotonin is produced in our gut. Mm-hmm. So it's just this amino acid that's helping to, support the production of a lot of those neurotransmitters that we need, a lot of those calming, feel-good neurotransmitters that we need.
Yeah.
Downside to theanine, usually higher dosages, say around 600 milligrams or so, can have a sedative effect. So hey, if you're wanting to go to bed, that's perfect.
Right.
Feels good. Do some magnesium, do a bunch of theanine, sleep like a baby. But I like both. And I think, for me, getting back to the GABA, like, using it periodically and, for situations. Theanine you could do daily for a while if you wanted to, because again, we don't make very much of it. I know for me personally, I needed some of that dopamine production. So I think for me, theanine seems to work a little bit better. It too can be amazing with coffee because it's going to really calm down. What both theanine and GABA are doing is they're kind of moving our nervous system from that parasympathetic side to the sympathetic side, and
Right.
kind of relaxing.
Yeah.
And immediately addressing cortisol levels. Yes, I love ashwagandha, holy basil, rhodiola, a lot of these adaptogens that are supporting our adrenals.
Yes.
And helping with cortisol levels. But these amino acids, like Claudia was saying, incredibly safe, and they work very, very quickly.
All right,
Yes.
Claudia, the theanine is what I want to try. You sold me on that, Bruce. Are those
All right.
chewable? Are those chewable?
They're
Claudia?
chewable.
They
Oh
are
yeah.
chewable too.
Yeah,
All right,
they're
can I come
chewable.
in and try those tomorrow?
Yeah, a little bit of difference. So we're still using organic cane sugar with the theanine and the chewable Tranquil Sleep. I think, the folks up in Canada, they've played with that recipe, Claudia, and the tablets are either ending up too hard or too soft when we use xylitol.
Yeah.
But the Pharma GABA, we're using xylitol, and I'm perfectly fine with doing a little bit of xylitol. Leaves your teeth clean too, which is
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
So that's one of the benefits to the Pharma GABA too, is that we've got a little bit of xylitol in there as the sweetener.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
Very
taste great.
good. Yeah. Yeah. All right. So next we have the last one is Tranquil Sleep, because I'll tell you what, lots of people are having trouble sleeping.
That's me.
Yes.
I can fall asleep. My problem is staying asleep. This morning, 1 a.m., I'm wide awake. I'm like, why am I awake? I got to get up in 2 hours. What's going on?
Right.
So will that product help you stay asleep or just help you fall asleep? Because I have no problem falling asleep.
Go
I
ahead.
can't make any
Go ahead.
guarantees.
Right.
Okay.
But yeah,
Right.
I mean, sometimes when you're waking up at 1 or 2 a.m., it could be blood sugar levels. A lot of times if we become a little bit hypoglycemic in the middle of the night, then of
It'll
course our
spike
adrenals
you.
are going to release a little bit of cortisol, a little bit of
Right.
adrenaline to stimulate our appetite. But no, Tranquil Sleep, it's an amazing formula. You're getting a little bit of that theanine, again, moving your nervous system from parasympathetic to sympathetic, kind of calming down everything. Theanine is also great for supporting healthy blood pressure, believe it or not. You're getting a little bit of 5-hydroxytryptophan. So that's, the 5-HTP is helping with our own melatonin production and
Yes.
our own serotonin production. Not a lot, maybe like 50 milligrams. So hopefully that, Denny, with that melatonin production, that hopefully will help you stay asleep as well.
And there's a little bit of melatonin in here, correct?
Yes, there's a little bit of melatonin in there as well. So
Yeah.
factors, I don't know
Little
what, I can't speak to what everybody else is using as a raw material, but most melatonin on the market is synthetic. None of it is animal derived anymore that I know of. But you can make melatonin through fermentation as well, bacterial, fermentation. And this melatonin, I think, just seems to work a little bit better, it tests a little cleaner. Of course, at Factors, we're testing now for, up to 800 different contaminants.
Yes.
And I think this raw material just seems to work really, really well. So yeah, a little bit of the melatonin, and that's going to help you fall asleep. So, say 25 minutes, half an hour out before you're ready to go to bed. That's when I would usually do the Tranquil Sleep. We do an enteric soft gel as well. Depending on what's, in your stomach, that's probably going to be 45 minutes to an hour out.
That's the one I pulled, is the enteric.
Oh yeah, the enteric,
soft
yeah.
gel.
Yep, and it works just as well for me as the chewables do. So, it's going to take a little bit more time. But yeah, it works amazingly.
Well, Suzanne commented. Suzanne says I use the Tranquil Sleep, and it definitely helps me sleep better.
Nice.
Yes,
Thank you for telling us that. The enteric coated soft gels, some people will say that it helps them. It's a slower release, so it lasts longer for some people. So we have, we do both, but they're both great products. Yeah. And sleep is so important. It becomes a vicious cycle. If somebody is stressed, they're not sleeping. And if they're not sleeping, they're creating more biochemical stress. So it becomes a very vicious cycle. So sleep is very, very important, as we know. And a lot of healing occurs in the body at a cellular level at night while we're sleeping. But Bruce, I do agree with you. It's very interesting. You know, you have a lot of people for years that have said, don't eat after whatever, 6 o'clock or 7, whatever. But I think what we're seeing now is some people truly need to eat something, protein or something to help stabilize their blood sugar through the night. So we're seeing that. We're seeing that, an increase in that. So, but these are great products. And you know, when we talk about, it's important to me, as Denny, you know this, anyone that shops at our store, the family-owned companies. This is the heart and soul, along with the health food stores, the independent stores. This is the heart and soul of this industry. And when you talk about, Bruce, you're talking about some of how they're creating some of these raw materials. It's because they care. It's because they're mindful. It's because they know quality. They care about quality. And unfortunately, we've seen a lot of wonderful family-owned companies that are now owned by big corporations. You know, who knows if they're going to continue with that care. So we will always focus on the family-owned companies, and we're really grateful for, you know, Natural Factors and what they're doing. How many years again have they been in business? It's been around a while, haven't they?
Almost 60 now.
Oh yeah, that's amazing. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And we're very proud to carry this company. So
yeah, well, we definitely
stuff.
appreciate you. We appreciate all of our independent natural foods retailers for sure, because it's you guys here in the States, especially, that really built Natural Factors. And being family owned is wonderful, because we're not trying to make shareholders happy. We're trying to make your customers happy.
Exactly.
Bam. And I love that, Bruce.
Yeah, I love it. It's beautiful. And then in synergy with the independent health food stores, that's also, they care about education. They care about products. So they're doing proper education. A lot of times customers will tell me when some of the companies have gone, you know, to big corporate interest, they'll see them, you know, at different big box stores thrown into a markdown bin for $1 a bottle. You know, it devalues what we're about. So education, heart and soul, it's the beauty of our industry.
It really is.
Yeah.
All right, Bruce, you did a fantastic job. We are
Thank
giving
you,
a round of
Bruce.
applause.
Yeah,
we
that was
appreciate
wonderful.
You going on.
Good.
Great information, and we might have you back on at another time, my friend.
Excellent. Thanks, guys. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you, Bruce. Many blessings.
Yes.
Take care. All right, that was wonderful. I really enjoyed that. Some really good information getting out. Rose says family-owned businesses are the heart of the country. Amen, Rose.
Amen to that, yes.
Jessica wants to know, do you accept Nation's benefits or other OTC insurance card for payment of your products? Now, I don't know if that was for you or for Bruce.
I'm not quite sure what she's asking.
I don't
Meaning,
know. Nation benefits or other OTC insurance cards. You don't pay
No. I mean, we don't at the store. I don't know. Jessica, if that's what you're asking. But I just want to say something. Because over the years, there are people that will always say to me, they wish insurance would pay for supplements. And I always remind everybody, because right now we have a serious problem. A lot of people in this country are complaining that insurance companies are dictating everything about their health. And that's the concern. I personally don't think insurance companies should ever pay for supplements, because then they're going to tell people what they can use, what they can't use, when they can use it, when they shouldn't. They're going to dictate it. And you know, they're already dictating enough of our health, which is why I think the country is going the wrong way with health, because we're being dictated by all these things. So, you know, anyway, I don't know of any insurance that pays for supplements. If I'm wrong on that,
I think, and you can check with your HSA provider, your health savings account. I believe some products you can buy with your HSA card.
Yes, and that's something our industry has been lobbying in Washington for several years now, is for that to be allowed, because that somebody has control of their own money with that account, is my understanding. So yes, that's one thing our industry is working on, and we need the legislators in Washington to get on board, because that would be a good thing. but it's not insurance dictated, if I understand that correctly.
All right, Claudia, great job as always. What are we doing next week?
So next week, we're going to be speaking with Nordic Natural, great company. We're going to learn about omega-3s, fish oils, how they're processed, all these things. So it should be very good. I'm not sure who the educator is yet for that show, for that episode, but Nordic Natural will be our guest. And we're very excited about it.
And like always, Claudia, I'm giving you the last word.
Well, thank you. You know, a lot of people are asking, where do you begin when you're working on changing lifestyle habits? And I always want to remind everybody, keep it simple. Do it in baby steps. Don't try to change everything overnight. It doesn't work. That's not how humans change. I think we change very slowly. We have to get it deep in who we are. You know, some people see supplements as just popping a bunch of pills, and that's not at all what it is. It's a part of a lifestyle. It's nourishing. You know, when people understand these are tools supporting and nourishing the body, changes the whole aspect of it. So just take things in baby steps. Start with, you know, some people start with working on getting rid of pop. Some people want to start with, you know, flying through a fast food restaurant less. So all these things, just do something in a baby step, moving toward a positive, something positive for your health. That's all that's important. Just take the judgment out of it and just do the best you can and feel good about it. This is really important to me and something we've seen over the years. Every baby step that you take in the right direction for embracing quality health, you know, as people stick with it, they feel better and then they get inspired. And then, you know, it feeds itself. So just do it in baby steps. And last thing is, I always remind everybody, please keep the faith. Keep your faith. It's very important. After the podcast we did a couple weeks ago about grief and all of that, it's amazing how many people said to me, all through that whole week, and thank you for, you know, reminding us to keep the faith and, you know, just walk with God and do it one day at a time and just do the best you can and do it from a loving place. So when it comes to good health, it's all about doing it from love for ourselves. So just do the best you can. So we appreciate everybody tuning in. Thank you so much, and many blessings to everybody. Peace.